Okay, welcome to this month's edition of Gulfstream Legal's Poolside Chats. I'm Ari Mandel, if you don't know me already, and I'm here with my very favorite guest, Christine. Christine, I'll let you introduce yourself very quickly.
I'm Christine Porras. I'm the Director of Technology Solutions at Oasis, and Ari and I go way back.
We won't start dating things here. Nobody wants that at the moment. So, we're filming a very special episode. We're here live from Walt Disney World, where we both happen to be attending a very special conference this time of year that everybody, I'm sure, knows about, but I won't name. But today's subject is actually quite entertaining and exciting for me, because we are one of the first to help Oasis announce their new product of automating workflows within Relativity. Something available? Is it available right now?
It is available now for our partners and for your clients.
Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about, before we talk about the product itself, why did you guys decide it was important to build this tool?
So Oasis really, the way that it started has always been, we were like a vendor to the vendors for many, many, many years. What we didn't want to do was put any roadblocks for people to actually do their work, right? And that was like my biggest gripe on the law firm side when I worked with vendors, that it was like, well, if you wanted to press this button, it was, an extra charge, or you had to call, or you had to send in an email. And our theory has always been, we really want people to come into the environment and do things on their own, administrate their own workspace, have access to do the things that they need to do, because we know that every single project is not the same. And you have to build solutions around all of the different types of, not just projects, but data sets. So Litsy was really created to create an application that was going to allow anyone in our environment that was using Relativity to create their workspaces, users, manage their groups, all of the things that you might have been locked down from doing in other places. For us, it was imperative that people can do that on their own. So as the years have progressed, we've built onto that, and our latest release has included automated workflows.
So let's get into these automated workflows, because this is really cool to me. So when you talk about automated workflows, talk to our audience about what really do you mean by that? What can you automate? How do they do that? What sort of access do they need? And just so everybody knows, we are going to demo this here in just a little bit. But talk to everybody about, what are we talking about?
So Litsy is a Relativity application that is available to our partners through just, download that application, you see it inside of your environment. When you go into Litsy, it is very user-friendly, and it's all creating, like you're creating a job, so you can, run DT search indexes, run your OCR sets, your imaging sets, batch sets, STRs, anything that you do on a daily, right? Like, I know that a lot of us want to talk about AI and all these other things that we think are like shaping our e-discovery world, but people are still doing their job day in and day out.
Okay.
And workflows helps with that. And it helps you do it across workspaces, and when you're like a super administrator, across matters.
Okay, so people don't have to just do this within an individual matter. They can do this across their entire instance.
Yes.
And so you mentioned you can automate these features, like rebuilding a DT search index on a daily basis.
You can schedule them.
Okay, can you do anything else? Can you, based upon a trigger, like a load?
Yes, so it could be, you get to pick, and just like any other, job that you set up in Relativity, it's created to already, like, it has the same type of setup that you're used to seeing. So the learning curve is really small. So you have a trigger, you have a setting, and then you can schedule it so that you can tell it, hey, every time your data is uploaded, run this DT search using this safe search, take it off at this time, and you're done. And then you can get email notifications.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so, and you mentioned, so this is available, anybody who has access to any of our Litsy databases for their particular instance, for their matters, they have access to that. And to get access, we can just grant them permissions.
You can grant them, and everything is based, again, because it's Relativity, everything's based upon group, a group. So if you have like a case team leader, that wants to be able to do this, but you don't want to have the reviewers have access to it, or for whatever reason, maybe another group that you don't want to have access to only a certain part of Litsy, you can completely block them off.
Okay, so before we show the demo of this, because I've seen it and I know it's pretty cool, so talk to me about, you know, besides saving money, saving people time, what do you think is the other key benefit to this tool itself?
Well, I think we have to talk just a little bit about the way that Litsy has been created. You know, we keep building upon it, and truthfully, a lot of the issues that we see coming to us, but we start building solutions for.
Okay.
So this was something that came up, and in multiple conversations, right? We are in a really collaborative environment, and truthfully, like when we get together once a week, a lot of the times, you know, our technical account manager will say, so-and-so is having an issue with doing this, or so-and-so had a gripe about that. And then in these meetings, these ideas start coming about. And then we collaborate with the application engineers and with our custom development team to start adding more and more to Litsy. And I think that it's a response to a need, but then it's also making things just easier in general. And again, I think a lot of applications are thinking about just in the workspace.
Okay.
It's very focused on just one thing. And we are really trying to just take a step back, and because again, our environment is built so that you can do what you need to do, and then in turn your clients can do that. You are managing all of these projects, right? And you know, your client at, you know, Acme is managing all of their workspaces. So
okay.
I think the huge benefit is that you're not doing this on a workspace level. Like, you're really thinking about it one level up. You know, people keep talking about reusable work products. They keep talking about all of these different things that they want to use across workspaces. And this is our answer to that.
Perfect. Well, I think now is the perfect time to show everybody this. So here you go. Check out the automated workflows in Litsy, and we'll be right back.
Bye.
So once you have access, you're going to be able to see Litsy automated workflow templates and automated workflows. So let's start with the templates part. And I'm going to create a new automated workflow template. Obviously, anything in orange is required. We're just going to do insights, test 3, because I'm not original. And my active client is always Oasis. Test. And this could be anything, right? You get this, right? It's your template. You can, you know, put in, this is for a priv, right? Maybe every time you have a workspace, you're going to have a priv template, and you're going to set it up so that every time you go in here, sorry, my bar is down in my way. Here we go. Operations. These are, again, the things that you're able to do. Maybe I want to run my DT search index. Would be nice if I picked the right one. And maybe what I'm going to do for my priv is I'm also going to run my search term report, because I want to make sure that all of my priv documents, they're indexed, and that, you know, someone is able to see that the search term report has been updated, and then obviously batch out those documents. So this is going to be my template. I'm going to create the template. And again, if anybody's on the call and you want to pipe up and say something from our dev team, please feel free. We're going to go into automated workflows. And you can create multiple templates, right? I just created this one, and it's going to be really super simple. And as I've got all my templates there, I'm able to, you know, run filters. I can, you know, look for the ones that I'm interested in. So if I knew which one it was, I could just quickly and easily filter it, just like you would in any other space within Litsy. So when I go to automated workflow, I've got my template, and I just created one, which was insights test 3, and it's going to populate the information that I had there. So maybe if this was my priv one, I'm going to just go in here and update this, and I'll just say, you know, priv search for review. And that's my workflow. I need to make sure that every time my workspace is set up, that this is all done, so that we know that it's going to happen. So I can put in my description, priv docs, and active, yes or no. So with active, when you hit yes, it is going to run that, and it's going to, you know, update. if you had no, it's kind of like inactive. So you can keep it there, but it's not going to do anything. You won't be able to run it manually unless you come in here and you hit active. Now, when I first thought about that, I was like, I don't think I really like that, but I do. And I like it because it gives you a little bit of safeguard. So if you are at a company, like at my firm, the way that it was is we would set up different workflows where we would do things in searches, and then it would go through like another team to make sure that it was done properly or appropriately. And then they would make any edits, and then the following team would be the one that would do it. So if you are in like that type of tiered system, this would work really well for you. So you can come in here and do all the templates and make sure everything is set up. And then, somebody else can take a look at it and then make them active and run them. So I'm just going to hit yes. And here, obviously, your email address. You can also put in the semicolon and add anyone that you need. The nice thing here is you're not going to have to sit here and look at it. So you will be able to just get that notification, and you can also get a notification with any errors that you have. So my workspace, I'm going to use this smoke test here. And then we have the triggers. You have a couple of things that you can do. You can have a manual. And again, you can't run the manual unless the active is set to yes. You can schedule it. So we'll look at manual. So it's just manual. Scheduled, it's going to then tell you, how do you want to schedule it? Daily, hourly, weekly. Maybe I want to do weekly, and I can put in the intervals. I can put in the days. I think this is cool because you can pick your days. You can maybe pick the weekend, start time, and the time zone, which is huge because not everybody is on Eastern, even though I like to think that. So you can pick all the time zones that you want, and you can set it up. You can set it up hourly or daily. Now, this is the biggest piece about this and the biggest takeaway, and why we wanted you to be all together when we tell you this. We are creating these workflows for you to, help automate, reduce human error. You've heard me say all of that. Now, when you're doing it, please be conscious that when you're running the workflow, know how long it takes. So if I know that the DT search index is going to take 4 hours, don't schedule it for every 30 minutes. Now, I know I'm being a little dramatic, yes, but I hope I'm getting my point across. We are going to be monitoring the system as always, like we do all the time. And we're going to try to make sure that when we see workflows that are being scheduled and are taxing the system unnecessarily, we're going to alert you and we're going to have a conversation. And, we'll figure out what the best way, we'll update it, whatever the case is. So just be conscious when you're setting up the scheduler that, that you kind of know in your workspace, like how often it should be running, and that, you're not doing it unnecessarily or like confusing the system. Hopefully that makes sense. So once I've scheduled it, and maybe I can show you daily, right? However many days you want to skip the weekend, start time. Again, you've got your time zone as well. So I'm just gonna say every 3 days. Skip the weekend, start time. I'll pick, I don't know, 7:30 a.m. And then I'm going to be able to, and this is pulling straight from the workspace, and it's all live. So you don't have to worry about having to get out and go look or anything. Do you want to stop the workflow upon the error? Here's where you can either pick yes or no. If you pick no and there is an error, you'll get that email. When I have DT search index, it will pull up all of the DT searches that I have access to. Of course, I'm an administrator and I see everything, but this is, again, based off of all of the groups and everything all already built into Relativity. So again, if you've got like your first tier of analysts and your second tier, if they don't have access to something, you just got to make sure that everybody has access to things so that they can run automated workflows. Here you can select updating only new documents, which I think is nice because then you can create your template or you can create your workflow so that every day, maybe at 10 o'clock p.m., if you know that things are being updated, this can run on its own and you don't have to worry about going into the workspace. And if I want to run my search term report, I can, again, pick yes or no. And I've got my search term report here. So I'm going to just run up and I'm going to click on create. I'd run it and then I'd get a bunch of emails, but you kind of know what emails look like already. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to create a new one from scratch just so that I can add all of them and you can see all the different options. I don't know if there are questions in the chat. Oops.
Nope, you're good.
Nope. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to just click one more and it's just going to say automated workflow. And now here you could say that you don't want a template. You don't have to pick a template. You can start with, just just a fresh one. Oops. Oasis. I'm going to just skip over the ones that, let's do smoke test again. And we kind of went through all the different triggers. So I'm just going to leave it at manual. I'm just going to add some of the other ones so that you can see. And what you have to remember is that you have to actually create it in the workspace. So if I'm trying to pull a imaging set, or I'm trying to pull an STR, or I'm trying to pull everything, it has to already be in the workspace. So the workflow on a very high level really works that you've got your template, you're creating your workspace, you're then coming into Litsy, and while you're running it, creating it, and then you're coming into Litsy and you're creating the automated workflow so that it can just run it every time. So for imaging set, if I don't have an imaging set, which I didn't in this one, you're not going to see that there. If I can then remove it, right? If I wanted to, and I'll just update and I'll just come back in here. But if I wanted to run, let's say, an analytics index, and I wanted to run any other one, I'm just going to click on it, add it, and then fill out all of the different information that's here. And it'll give you more info, especially for the analytics index, which I think is nice. I want you to remember that this is an application that we're creating. So, you know, if there are other workflows and things that you're interested in seeing, you know, let us know. We'll talk a little bit more about that after. And again, you can update new documents or not update them. If you run a script and we add that to the workflow, then at that point, you can pick the scripts that you're interested in and you can run them. I think this is a big one because we create so many different scripts for you to put into your workspace that you can have a workflow just for scripts. You know, once you've done all of your work, like you're running all of the different Oasis scripts that are available, or maybe it's billing scripts or side scripts or whatever it is that you need to do, and they're all there and readily available for you. And anytime you pull a script, it's going to pull in that information for that script. So depending on what I'm picking, it's going to update and it's going to ask me that information based on the script. So you're doing everything in one location. You don't have to, you know, step out and go. And this is a little different from the way that I think Relativity in general kind of approaches things. This is more like you're getting everything in one location, which of course then is super efficient and you're not wasting time going to other places for things. So that's Litsy automated workflows.
So that is a really cool feature to have. I know I'm excited to start using these in all of my projects and start really seeing how it affects my day by day. But in continuing to talk about Litsy, what other features are either coming or in Litsy that you think are really cool?
So like I mentioned before, a lot of the way that we build Litsy is, you know, it's careful thought. We do put a lot of thought into it, and it is proactive work. But some of it is reactionary. There's moments where we will have instances where G drive links are a problem, huge. So we created a solution for that and put that inside of Litsy. We have Tag Sync, which is another tool that allows you to reuse your work product and allows you to pick the hash value according to different fields. And then we have Reg Extract, which finds a regular expression. You can find anything that you need to find, extract it out and put it into a field. Now, I know that while we were at this conference, we heard about so many new things, cutting edge technology, and I'm not trying to take away from that. You know, data mapping and cyber and all that is super important. These solutions are really the ones that I believe are changing the way that litigation support people, whether you're at a vendor or a law firm or wherever you are, that are changing the way that you're dealing with your data every day. And I think that these kind of tasks are the ones that if you automate these things, if you schedule them, then it lets you get back to doing what you do best, right? You know, workflow consultations, you know, finding how you can like maybe leverage analytics or do other things with your data. But these are the things that at the core, this is what's taking people time to do.
Well, and I love you mentioned one of my favorite tools as well, the G drive links. I mean, we talk about modern attachments all the time, but I think it's important, like you're mentioning, not just the automation of those, but making those scripts, or, you know, simplifying how we fix those common problems available to people, that's going to affect their daily life. You know, we're always available, you're always available to support, but what if it's 2 a.m. in the morning and they have a need, or one of our clients have a need? They don't have to wait. Sometimes they don't have the luxury of waiting for a support call or calling somebody up.
Right.
They just need to be able to do it themselves. So now everybody can start to act as an expert,
Right.
leaving us available to handle even more advanced tasks for them and continue to simplify their life every single day. Yes?
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping to do with every single new feature.
Well, perfect. Well, Christine, I know your time is very important. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Not often we get together, only a couple times a year. I know I love my time with you, and we
Same.
always have fun. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I
Bye.
hope you enjoyed seeing what you have. We have a very exciting guest coming next month with us, so I hope you'll enjoy and come back and see me again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.